Hi, welcome to Cooking with Mama Bear. I'm your host, Mama Bear, and today we're going to make beef enchiladas. Before you start, make sure you ask your parent or guardian, can you cook first? Because once they say yes, then you can cook. Okay, first things first, let's wash our hands. Okay, so for today's recipe for the beef enchiladas, you will need about a cup and a half of mozzarella cheese, at least 10 flour tortillas, and I have the mini size, so I might need more. You're gonna need 2 pounds of ground beef, one medium-sized onion, about a fourth of a cup of tomato paste. We're probably gonna need at least a half a cup of the pinto beans, about a fourth of a teaspoon of salt, 6 tablespoons flour, and then we will also need some garlic powder, some onion powder, some chili powder, some oregano, and some cumin. We will also need about 4 cups of chicken broth and 6 tablespoons of oil. You will also see for your equipment, you will need a baking dish, and mine's about 9 by 13 size. A knife, a serrated knife, or it can be a chef's knife or a paring knife, just a sharp knife to cut your onion. I have it's like a masher to chop up the meat while it's frying in the pan, a mixing spoon to make the sauce, a slotted spoon for the ground beef, and then a potato masher to mash the beans. Okay, first we're going to start with our saucepan. I don't have it on yet, but I will cut it on in just a moment or turn it on. You're going to need 6 tablespoons of flour. So this is my all-purpose regular everyday flour that most people buy and use. So I'm just shaking this to level this off. So I'm going to pour in 1, and you count out loud so you don't lose track. 2, 3, 4, 5, and the last one is 6. Okay, next we're going to add our spices. So we're going to start with chili powder, and normally the containers have if it's a big container, it has an opening so you can level it off right on the top of that ledge. So I am going to need 3 teaspoons of chili powder. So I'm going to scoop up much more than I need, a heaping amount. I don't know if you can see that. I'm going to drag it across the top, and I'm going to pour it in. So there's 1, 2, 3. And then next I will need some cumin. So I need a teaspoon and a half. So I'm going to open this up because this is a smaller container. So here's my teaspoon. So I'm going to get more than what I need. I'm going to shake this a little bit in the container and pour it in. And then I need a half a teaspoon as well of cumin. Okay, next I will need garlic powder. I'll need 1 teaspoon of garlic powder. Oh, this opens up. Okay, well, because I got chili powder on here, I do not want to introduce a different kind of spice in here. So I'm just going to gently and slowly shake this in. And this looks about right. Okay, and I'm going to pour in my garlic powder. Next, I will need onion powder, and I need a half a teaspoon of that. So I'm going to open up my onion powder, and I'm going to gently and slowly pour this in. Okay, and then we will need a fourth of a teaspoon of salt. I'm going to just use regular salt, but you could use that seasonal salt, which I love, but we're not going to do that today. Because I have, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take my big mixing spoon, and I'm going to pour my salt over this because I don't want to accidentally get too much salt in the saucepan. Okay, I'm going to shake it gently to level it off. I'm going to pour that in. We're going to give, I forgot to tell you, we need a little black pepper. So we're just going to crank this, like if you're using regular black pepper, you can use 1/8 of a teaspoon. I'm just going to turn it like 3 times. Okay, that looks great. Now, I am going to stir this. I'm going to put this salt in my trash over there. I'm going to stir this up just a little bit. I'm just mixing the spices in so it's well combined. And it smells really fragrant. And that means it smells really good or it has a nice smell to it. So now that this is done, now we're going to cut the flame on medium. I'm going to turn it on 4. My stove goes up to the number 9, so this is about the halfway mark. So now I'm going to add some oil, and I need 6 tablespoons of oil. So I'm just going to slowly pour in my 6, and I'm going to count out loud. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and my last one is 6. So now I'm going to stir the oil and the flour together so it is well combined, and it looks kind of oily, kind of pasty, or it's going to turn to paste. It's going to heat up for like 1 minute, and while we're waiting for that to warm up, we're going to open up our tomato paste. So what I like to tell my students, wash the can with a hot soapy towel and then rinse it, and I already did that. So if there's any germs or bacteria on top of the can, you're not introducing it into your food once you use the can opener. So I have electric can opener, so I'm just going to lift this up, and you'll see this little sharp blade. I don't know if you guys can see that or not. So I'm going to lift this up. I'm going to press down, and it should, yes. I always put my hand under there thinking it's going to fall, but it should stay. Yes, it stayed. So I am going to lift this up, and the little magnet holds the little top. And now I'm going to need 4 tablespoons of tomato paste. So I am going to take just a regular kitchen spoon, and I'm going to fill this up. And I am just leveling it off with the back of my spoon. And I'm going to put it right in my saucepan. So here's 1. 2, and I need 4 altogether, so I need just a couple more. Okay. Ooh, 3, and 1 more makes 4. Okay, here's my 4th one. I'll make sure I get all this tomato paste in the saucepan. Okay. So I'm going to stir this up just a little bit. You can see the tomato paste is mixing in with the flour paste mixture that's got the oil in here as well. Okay, I know it looks really thick, but we're going to add a liquid to this so this can get a little more runny, and then it looks more like sauce. Now, I am making beef enchiladas, so I could have used beef broth, but I don't have any at home, so I'm going to use chicken broth. Okay, I need 4 cups of chicken broth. So I am just going to grab my liquid measuring cup. I'm going to find the 1 cup line. I'm going to pour in my chicken broth. And I'm going to go to the 1 cup line, but I need 4 cups. So you're going to bend down at eye level. Yep, and there's 1. So I'm going to pour this in. 1. Uh-oh, I ran out. So I have some more chicken broth over here. Found it. Okay, so now we're gonna go up to the 1 cup line. And thank goodness I was counting out loud, because I almost thought, what cup am I on? Okay, so this is, oh, I need a little bit more. Okay, there we go. So this is cup number 2. Just made a little spill. Okay, let's check. Nope, a little bit more. Yep, here's 3. And 1 more. Okay, and I think, yep, that just a little bit more. Okay, is number 4. Okay, now we're gonna pour this in. Now this looks like sauce. Okay, so it was kind of lumpy at the bottom, so I'm just stirring it up to make sure that the flour is mixed in well into our enchilada sauce. Now, there's just a couple more things that we're gonna need. We're gonna need some vinegar. But I'm going to cook this down just a tiny bit. It should get a little thicker. You see those lumps in there? So I want to make sure that I am stirring this around. I could transfer over to a whisk and make sure that I've got all the lumps from the bottom out. But I'm just going to continue to stir with the spoon. Now we're going to make the beef filling for the enchiladas. So I have my 2 pounds of ground beef. So I'm just going to put this, I have my pan on 4, so it should be nice and warm. You'll hear a sizzle. I'm squeezing this out. All right. Okay, and then next, what I'm going to do is I cut the medium onion off camera. And so I'm also going to add that to my ground beef. And I chop them like little squares for the most part. I know there's a couple of them that were kind of long. Okay. Then we're going to add some seasoning to make the meat taste really flavorful. So we have ground cumin, and we need a half a teaspoon. So I'm almost out, but I have enough. So I'm going to pour right over the meat, because if it spills out, it's okay, because this is all I need. Okay, so I'm going to sprinkle this around on the meat and the onions. You're going to need a teaspoon of onion powder. Oh, this smells so good. A teaspoon of garlic powder. Okay, and then a teaspoon of chili powder. Now I'm going to gently shake this in because I don't want to add it to I don't want to put the spoon in there because it has onion powder and garlic powder on it. Okay, that looks about right. We're going to sprinkle that in. We're going to do 1/4 of a teaspoon of oregano. And I have ground oregano, or you could use the flakes too. So I'm going to sprinkle that around. Ooh, it's smelling good. And then we're going to finish by adding salt. Now I'm not going to pour it right over my dish. So I'm going to use my glass measuring cup just to catch any extra salt I might accidentally pour. Yep, there it goes. Okay, I'm going to shake off the extra. I'm going to sprinkle the salt around. Now, some people like more salt than others, so if you want more salt when the meat's done, you can always add more. So now I'm just going to cook this down until it's all brown. See, it's pink right now. I'm going to cook it till it's all brown and there's no longer pink. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I have my cooking or baking dish. I'm going to spray it so the stuff does not stick. I'm doing the sides and the bottom. Then I'm going to take, I just grabbed a ladle and I'm going to pour some of the sauce down on the bottom of the tray or the baking dish. Just so it has a nice little bath of sauce to sit in. Okay, I'm going to do a little bit more. Okay, that looks good. And I'm just going to rotate that around. Next, I'm going to open up and get one of my little mini tortillas. Off camera, I mashed up the whole can of beans. I thought I would only use half. I ripped that, so that's okay. I thought I would use half, but I ended up using all of it. So I mashed it with a fork, and I added the spices, the same spices that went in the sauce, and that will be in the description box below at the end. So I'm just going to scoop up, it's probably like a tablespoon or a tablespoon and a half. I'm going to smear the beans around. If you don't like that many beans, you don't have to use that much. Just enough to get everything to stick. Then I'm going to sprinkle some cheese on. Okay, I got a little paper towel, lay that down, like get my cheese out. So you probably need about at least a tablespoon of cheese per mini flour tortilla. Now if you're using the regular tortillas, you're probably going to need more. Okay, if I could just get this in here. Spilling it, making a mess. Okay. So I'm thinking I'm using at least a cup of cheese. Okay, so I'm going to pick up my tortilla. I'm going to use my clean hand and just get a little cheese and sprinkle it on. Okay, that's at least a tablespoon or two. Oh yeah, that's good. Then I'm going to use my slotted spoon and get some of the seasoned meat with the cooked in onion. Oh, that looks good. Okay, put that right there. Now I'm going to roll this up. And then I'm going to put it, this is the seam I'm going to put the seam side down so it doesn't like break open, hopefully. This gets a little messy. Okay, I've got my first batch done and I'm going to put it in the oven. I don't have to cover it up. We're just trying to get the cheese to melt. So I'm going to carefully put it in the oven at 400 for like 10 minutes and this should be done. I hope you enjoyed this cooking lesson today with Mama Bear. Don't forget, stay and look while you cook. Bye!